I was shapen in iniquity.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity.
Read it one more time.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity.
Read on.
And in sin.
And in what?
Sin.
Read on.
Did my mother conceive me.
And in sin did my mother conceive me.
Why they call it a sin when she had a baby?
Is having a baby a sin?
Is having a baby a sin? Y'all don't want to answer me? I say I don't know. You know. Is having a baby a sin?
Why is it still saying that it's a sin? Because a baby was born.
The God-sent Comforter answers questions of childbirth, the separation period, and why King David called it a sin.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Read on.
Saying,
come on.
If a woman have conceived seed,
come on,
and born a man child.
Okay, so if a woman was pregnant, and her days to be delivered came, and she had a man child, a male. Read on.
Then she shall be unclean 7 days.
Shabbat Shalom, Holy Apostle.
Shabbat Shalom.
So my question is in Leviticus 15 and chapter 15 and verse 13.
Okay.
When you number those 7 days, do you number those 7 days according to
verse
20?
What?
Verse 13, sir.
Okay. The way you're asking the question, I just want to read the verse first. Read verse 13. You said?
Yes.
Yeah. Read it.
Yes,
and when he that have an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean.
Okay.
So, Holy Apostle, do you number those 7 days according to the 24-hour period, or according to the even?
Yeah, 7 days, 24-hour period.
Yes, sir. The water, sir.
All right. Any other question? Leviticus chapter 15.
Shabbat Shalom to the Holy Apostle.
Shabbat Shalom.
I have a general question about pink eye.
About what?
Pink eye.
Okay.
If one of our children has pink eye, they are not allowed into the sanctuary.
No.
No, right? Okay.
La.
The water.
Okay. Pink eye is something that's treated fairly easily. They got over-counter medicine for pink eye, but it's highly contagious. You know what I mean? So, them coming around anybody can cause a problem. Everybody getting up with pink eye. So, yeah, you want to keep them away for that period of time. And it heals up within a matter of days as well. So, as long as it's treated, they should be able to get back. But while they have it, they shouldn't be in the temple. Okay? Plus, the law tells you it's a running issue. Next question, please. And that's also, if anything, highly contagious. Wingworms, anything that your children get once they go to school and they come back with everything under the sun. Okay. Don't bring them to the church anyway. You understand? Let it get healed up. Y'all got that? Let it get healed up. Yes, please.
Shalom, Holy Apostle. It's kind of a general question. If you're in a profession such as the health profession,
right,
and you're constantly exposed to people who would maybe considered unclean, is it only when the person has a running issue that you would be considered unclean if you touch them?
Well, you would never be unclean in the eyes of God. It's because that's your profession, that's your job. The scripture says to seek a physician when you are in these particular situations. So in that circumstance, in your profession, you're just like the priest. The scripture says that the priests profane the temple, and yet they are blameless. In other words, they're working on the Sabbath. You're not supposed to work on the Sabbath, but it wouldn't be no Sabbath if the priest wasn't there to do the ceremony. So God doesn't blame them. Do you understand that? Same thing with medical professionals. If they have to deal with people that have all these kind of diseases and different things, unless they catch it themselves, they're not unclean just by touching the individuals. They still remain clean because they're providing a service on the behalf of God. So that's why they remain clean. Understand?
Wow.
That goes for if you work in a morgue, funeral home, you still will be considered to be clean. you wouldn't be unclean because you have to deal with unclean things because of your profession. Any other questions in Leviticus chapter 15?
G priest.
Shabbat Shalom, Holy Apostle. Apostle.
Shabbat Shalom.
I had two questions. The first one had to do with sisters and how they deal sometimes, like they're unclean, but they're not here. So like some sisters will be like, no, don't hug me. Another one would be like, it's okay. Like what's appropriate?
Say that again. Some sisters would be like, what?
You know, like, don't touch me, I'm unclean.
Right, and the other sister would be like, what?
It's okay, we're not at the church. What's the proper way?
Don't touch me, I'm unclean. That's the proper way. The only ones who can say anything like that is like the holy apostles, people that have the power to omit and omit sins and different things of that nature. Everybody else is supposed to follow the commandments according to the way that the Lord said it's supposed to be followed. So it's supposed to be, don't touch me, I'm unclean.
The water, sir.
All right.
The second question has to do with like family days. I've heard it said before, like some people think it's okay to go into the pool if they could be unclean, but they're not actively unclean, they call it.
Actively unclean?
Yeah, like it's not running at the time and they still go in the pool. Like what's, is that okay?
Going in the pool when you're unclean during the family day.
Answer.
The facial expressions is not going to help the answer. You know, like I can see you already think you shouldn't go in the pool when you're unclean. But again, if the priests allow, and this is where y'all get your understanding from, what the priests tell you, the priest is operating on the behalf of God. If the priests allow people to come to an event and they're unclean, and the priests don't set no restrictions, then that's what you follow. If there needed to be restrictions set, then the priest will set it. The priest is not going to tell sisters that's unclean, don't go in the pool. No, we're not going to do that. Do you understand that? So there's nothing wrong with a sister that's unclean that's going in the pool. We would think that sisters would have, people just generally would have a certain set of morals, and they would know when to go in water and when not to go in water. But if they're not past the days of, according to the formulation of your question, if they're not past the days of their uncleanness, they haven't completed 7 days, they're not bleeding, where blood is going to get in the water and different things of that nature, then yeah, they can get in the water. We didn't set no restrictions on that. And that's how y'all deal with that. If we don't set if we allowing people to come, remember, we the ones that's telling people whether they can come and they can't come. Of course, if we tell anybody anything, it has to be under the consideration of the law of God. That's what the priest is supposed to do. The Lord said you should give them an answer from me. So what's permissible is what God permits, is what we allow. If it's unpermissible, then that's when you would start hearing about the restrictions. If there's no restriction set, it's not that we didn't get it, we forgot. If there's no restriction set, then it should be no issue with the congregation.
The water, sir.
All right. Any other question with Leviticus chapter 15?